It is the Cam Show. It is powered by Rogue Media Sports Network here in the historic Alico building in Waco, Texas, where we are rubbernecking towards Patriots practice. It's just so bad, but you can't stop looking at it. You can't look away from this car crash of joint practices between the Patriots and the Eagles in Foxborough. Look, we knew it probably wasn't going to be the Patriots looking the better team. The Eagles are a legit Super Bowl contender, and even though they fell off towards the end of last season, they're still one of the most well-rounded teams in the entire league. And the Super Bowl just 2 years ago, and the Patriots are not Super Bowl contenders. So we knew, look, it wasn't like going to be this great performance by the Patriots, but it was almost a no-lose situation in that the Patriots, if they looked any kind of good, or Drake May looked any kind of good, you would say, wow, look, this is coming against the Super Bowl contending Eagles. This is what really matters. Preseason games, those don't mean shit anymore. We're looking at the joint practices. So anything good was going to look really good for the Patriots. Notice I said almost a no-lose situation, because as we will see with this team from now until late December, early January, they're going to find a way to lose, even when it's a no-lose situation, because the Patriots apparently looked atrocious on the practice field on Tuesday. Greg Bedard, who is a bit dramatic, calling it traumatic to watch this Patriots offense perform. And he does have the numbers in the quarterback team periods. Your starter, Jacoby Brissett, 11 for 20 with a touchdown, 3 drops, 2 picks. He says they weren't his fault. At least one of them that I saw on tape, not his fault. And 6 sacks. How about Drake May? 5 of 8. Fumbled snap. No picks. 8 sacks. The team total 16 for 28, a touchdown, 2 picks, a fumble, 14 sacks, and 3 drops. They dropped back 28 times and got sacked 14 times. Now, my Rockland High mathematics can get me through this one. Every 2 times they were dropping back, one of them was a sack. That's fucking horrible, man. And if you want to look at the decline of this football team over the last few years, there's plenty of things you can look at. And I'm talking post-Brady. There's plenty of things you can look at. You can look at the offensive coordinators, having a DC running an offense, or having Mac Jones have 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years. You could talk about the weapons, because at times they have had the worst receiver room in the league, especially after Jacoby Myers left. Jacoby Myers, good player in this league. He's not one that should be the make or break of your receiver room, but that has been the case. But what you can really look at is in 2021, when they were a playoff team in Mac's rookie year, they were comfortably in the bottom third of the league in sacks allowed. So top third in least sacks allowed. Offensive line was pretty good. Then the next year, 22, they're 15th in the league in sacks allowed. Okay, you're still close to the bottom half, right? Pretty close, but you're not. And then last year, top 10 in sacks allowed. And somehow, this offensive line is even worse than last year's. So what do you expect? Why would you put Drake May out there right now? He would get killed. It's a suicide mission to put him out there with this offensive line. I'm just realizing that YouTube's going to hate that I said that. But it's true. He's going to go out there. He's going to get his head beat in if he's playing behind this offensive line. The Jacoby Brissett thing, bringing him in was like, please, Jacoby, guaranteed money, okay? You're going to look like Troy Aikman in his first year. They're going to have to be, scraping you up off the turf. But please, could you just do this solid? We'll keep you in the league. Because this is going to be a disaster, an absolute disaster. Defense looked good, apparently. That's what they should be. They should be a top 5, top 10 defense again. But this is going to be the most brain-dead offense we have seen for the Patriots in 30 years. It's probably going to be the worst Patriots team we've seen in 30 years. And I am searching for the positives right now. The defense looks good, but the defense was very, very good last year. They were top 5 in the league. And how many games could you point to on that 2023 schedule that said, damn, if the Patriots just scored 2 touchdowns, they would have won this game? I think of the Chargers game. I think of the Colts game. There's so many that you can circle and just say, man, if they had had a competent NFL bare minimum level of an offense, they would have won this game. But they did not have that. And it's even worse this year than it was last year. The offensive line is worse. The weapons are meh. Maybe worse, maybe better. Flip a fucking coin. Quarterback situation might even be worse. But it all starts with that offensive line. And they're supposed to be a team that's going to run the football down your throat. Good luck. Good luck. Because the other thing is, you have Ramondre Stevenson, who's a good back. I don't know if he's a franchise back. I don't know if he's the guy that is worth, almost $10 million a year and a lot of guaranteed money. I don't know that he's worth that, but he's a good, solid back. Who else? Kevin Harris? JaMychal Hasty? What are you rolling out there? What out there is saying, yeah, this is going to be a team that is going to cram it down your throat? Try and stop them on the run. What is pointing to that? And Alex Van Pelt, who I gave a lot of flowers to last week, and I still believe his offensive philosophy fits Drake May well. Alex Van Pelt is a guy who is predicated on taking shots on play action. Well, when you can't run the ball, what does play action even do? And yes, I do think his style of offense fits Drake May's skill set. But A, when are we going to see Drake May? B, when is he going to be ready to be on the field? Because those aren't the same thing. And C, is he going to have enough time to actually get the ball down the field? I found it pretty funny how much the Patriots defense blitzed in that first preseason game against the Panthers, because I imagine they're doing that a lot in practice. Who needs coverage sacks against this team? You're not going to have time for coverage sacks. The quarterback's not going to have time to get coverage sacks. This is going to be the worst Patriots team in decades, man. Since pre-Parcells. That's what we're looking at. Last year was probably it. Last year was probably the worst team they had since 92 when they got the number 1 pick in the next year's draft and drafted Drew Bledsoe. It hasn't been the same since. They've had some not great teams, but that was terrible last year, and we're looking at even worse. I was thinking about a team that was 3 or 4 wins last year. I'm thinking 3 or 4 this year. They might win 1 game. If they can't protect any quarterback who's back there, they might win 1, maybe 2 games. It's that bad. The personnel is that bad. The coaching staff, we don't even know. Because they've had such limited experience, and in a lot of cases, no coaching experience, as in like Gerard Mayo, no head coaching experience. And you think you're getting a guy who's caught up in the Patriot way. He's only played for in the NFL and only coached for Bill Belichick. And Bill Belichick was apparently so bad last year after almost 25 years of great that you fired him. Fine, but then why bring in someone who's been on his staff? If you really want to shake it up, why don't you bring someone else in if the Belichick way is that bad? But that's what we're seeing, and Mayo has no connections in this league because he hasn't worked anywhere else. And so now you're bringing in this amalgamation clusterfuck of coaches who are retreads and also rans and failed head coaches, like Ben McAdoo, who was laying out the plan for your franchise quarterback. Give me a break. Mac Jones had the benefit of having a good, solid football team around him. Once again, a good defense, like they have now, a good offensive line, 2 good young running backs, something at receiver, Kendrick Bourne, a healthy Kendrick Bourne, and Jacoby Myers. Not a lot, but you had something. And we wonder, wow, why did Mac look so good that rookie year? It's because he had a competent team around him. He had an offensive line that keeps his jersey clean. He had running backs that could actually establish the run. He had some guys who could get open on third down. He had an offensive coordinator who had been there before, who had success. Drake May has none of those things. And we're sitting here wondering, why isn't Drake May going to start week 1? There's your fucking answer. He doesn't have anything around him. Let Jacoby Brissett take the brunt. Let the Jag veteran take the hits. And I said last week, I'm okay with sitting Drake May until this is figured out. But you can't redshirt the kid. This is not getting figured out anytime soon. So it's great that you're going after the receivers and you're locking in these guys who led you to 4-13 last year. But you can't figure out the tackle situation. You have a Pittsburgh reject as your number 1 tackle out there. The one the Steelers were like, okay, great, get rid of him. That's the guy you're hinging your offensive line on. Give me a break, man. This is going to be one of, if not the worst offensive lines in football, and therefore one of the worst teams in football. So you want to give up a first-round pick for CeeDee Lamb? It's never going to happen. You want to throw out your next year's first-round pick for Brandon Ayuk? The 49ers would have fleeced you if that happened. That could be the number 1 pick in the goddamn draft with this offensive line. So this is your barometer, Patriots fans. You've seen them go against a good, competent NFL team in these joint practices that people actually care about more so than the preseason games, and that was the product you got. 28 dropbacks and 14 sacks and 2 picks in the red zone. Good Lord, have mercy on us all.
We are Rogue Media Sports.